What is going on, fellow web developers? My name is TYLERP, and in today's video we're going to get started creating our first Laravel chat application. Now this is a very basic chat application. As you can see on screen, we've got a simple header where you can enter your username and then a message box where you can send your message. Now this is real time, so if I refresh both of these quickly and we go in here and we say hello, my name is Keith, and I'll go through and I'll be like, hey, my name's Tyler. Cool. Now over here, if I just enter a message saying hello, if I can actually type hello Tyler, are you there? Bam, you can see instantly on the other one. Now these are two separate instances. This is an incognito and this is just a standard browser opening window thing. You know what I'm saying. And over here I can just reply to Keith like, hello Keith, how are you doing, buddy? Hello Keith, hello Tyler, and there you go. Now if we don't have a username in here and we try to send a message, you'll see it says please enter a username. And same with our message at the bottom. If we click send a message, you can say it says please send a username, please enter a message. So you have to enter a username and a message to obviously be able to send one, because if you can't, you would end up sending null. And currently this is what it looks like. So without further ado, guys, let's get started. Today's video is brought to you by Cloudways, a managed cloud hosting platform for PHP-based applications. Cloudways takes over all server management and security hassles to let you solely focus on your business. Their custom stack provides performance boosts, managed backups that keep your apps safe, and a staging environment that lets you test code without breaking the live site. Plus, pre-configured Composer and integrated Git make deployments a breeze. And you get a choice between 5 top cloud providers, including DigitalOcean, AWS, Linode, GCE, and Vultr. With Cloudways, you not only get flexibility, but peace of mind. So if you're an agency or an e-commerce store owner, Cloudways is a great fit for all your managed hosting requirements. And I particularly like their slogan too, moving dreams forward. It fits what they do. Don't forget to use promo code TYLERP to get up to 1 month free hosting with $15 free hosting credit. Okay guys, so we're going to be using a service called Pusher. Now you can use WebSockets, you can use a local version of this if you want to, but Pusher works really well, and there's a free tier, so all you have to do is go to pusher.com, sign up, start an account, and you'll be stuck with this page but without this Laravel chat here. Now you can click on manage, and in here you can see create apps. So what we could do is we click create app, we can give it a name, say Laravel chatting application, whatever you want. We can choose a cluster. Now I'm in the EU, so I'm going to choose EU. And it says apps for multiple environments. So you can actually set up maps for staging, development, and production, but we're not going to do that because we don't need to. And that's going to choose the front end. So we're going to be using just vanilla JavaScript to create our front end, and the back end we're going to be using Laravel. Now we could do it with any of the others, Vue, and we could do any here, but in this story we're going to stick with vanilla JavaScript and Laravel, and then you can click create app. Now I've already done this, as you saw from my previous video. So once you've actually got your application, you can come over to apps here, click on the app, and then one thing you're going to need is you can see app keys. So in your app keys, you can see these here. Now don't try and use my ones because this will be deleted by the time this video hits your faces. But I just want to show you right here, just so you can see what we're doing here. And also if you need to create new ones because someone's accidentally shared yours on, you know, the internet, you can click create a new key and secret, and there you go. We've now got a new key and a new secret, and we can actually delete the old one. Click delete. For now I'm just going to delete the new one because I'm used to using the old one, but once we've done this, we will delete this one as well. So let's actually move over to our terminal. Now in here we're going to use Composer, so you need to make sure you have Composer installed. You're also going to need to have npm installed, so we can say composer -v version, and there you go. You can see the version I'm using. I can also go npm-v as well, and you can see the version I have there. So let's run Composer create project Laravel /Laravel, and then we give our project a name. So this is going to be Laravel chat YouTube. Hit enter and it's going to create our project. So once that's done, we will crack on with the tutorial. Okay guys, so as you can see, that has now finished. So the next thing we have to do is cd into that directory. So we can say Laravel chat -YouTube cd into there, and we can run npm install right off the bat, because we're going to need to be using the npm mix, or the Laravel mix package. So we need to install this. Okay guys, that's now done. Now you can ignore this on my screen. It's something to do with my Xcode, needs updating. But that's fine. It actually has worked. Everything's installed properly. I've double checked, so we're all good there. So let's clear that. So once we've got that, we're going to open this up in Visual Studio Code by running code dot, and then this is going to open up my VS Code. Let's actually grab this here and bring this to the side just so we have it, and let's mount that there. So there we go. So let's go into our .env file, because it's the first place we need to go to. Okay guys, so once we're in here, we can go down to here, and you can see we have pusher, app ID, pusher, app key, app secret, and cluster. Now, by default, Laravel actually can use pusher off the bat. So if we go over to our pusher instance here, we can copy our app ID, pull it here, copy our key, put it here, same with our secret, bam, and then we need to change our cluster to EU, which I did before. And there you go. Now that's all we need to do inside of our .env file. So once we've done that, we can actually create a new event. Now a Laravel event, in here we can go in here and just say PHP artisan, and then we can say make event, and then we can give it a name. Now this event is going to be called a message, because we're going to be triggering this event on message. So let's hit enter, and actually it says event created successfully. So let's just clear this, and we can close that for now. Now inside of our app, we can go to events and message.php. Now as you can see here, we have this. Now we actually need to do implements here, and we need to implement should broadcast, because we want to be able to use this as a broadcaster, so it will broadcast on to the sockets, the web sockets we're going to be using. So now in here, what we're going to need to do is underneath these, we're just going to create two variables, two public variables. One is going to be the username, and the other is going to be the message we're sending. So in the construct, we're going to be passed through a username and a message. And what we can say in here is this hyphen username is equal to username, and this hyphen message is equal to, you guessed it, message. Now we've got those two add-ins, so now when we create a new message, it will create this and set this up, and then it's going to broadcast to it to a channel. Now what we need to do here is we actually need to change this from a private channel to a public channel, because we're not going to need authentication for this tutorial. And what we're going to do is change this to chat. So this, we're going to be broadcasting on a new channel we've just created called chat, which we can listen for on the front end. Once we've got that, we're then going to create another public function, broadcast as. Now, so we're going to say broadcast as, and what we're going to do is return, and we're going to return a name. Now we're going to return this as a message, because we want to broadcast as our message without all the class names. If you don't do this, it will try and use the namespace. So you'd have to write app/events / message to get it to work. But we just want it to be message. And there you go. That's all we need to do for our message.php. Now we need to go to our routes. We need to go into our web, and in here we need to actually set up a new route. But first we need to actually use app/events /message. Message. And we also want to just up here, you know, we could bring that up there as well. I don't know what I did down there. Let's do that, and we can also use the illuminate /http /request and response. And there you go, we can actually use our request and response in our fields now. So in the get function, this is where we're actually just going to get our view, and we're going to change this to index. I don't know why they name it welcome. I don't like it. I prefer just index. So in resources under views, we can rename this from welcome.blade.php to index.blade.php. we'll go in here and actually delete everything, start a new boilerplate, call this Laravel Laravel chat, and we're just going to put in here h1 hello world, because we don't need to use that just yet. So now we've got our singular view, which is great, but we actually need to get a new route, and this is going to be a post. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually send a message, and in here we're just going to say function request, and we're going to get the request, and then we can get the we could get the response, but I don't actually think we need it for this. So there we go, and I've done that wrong. It should be in there. Delete that, bam, and there we go, got there in the end. So now what we need to do is we need to create a new event. So in Laravel we can call this event, and then we can create a new message. So we create the event message in here, this class, and what we're doing is we're calling that message. Now we're creating a new one because we're importing it in here, and then in here we're just going to say we need to pass through basically our two parameters, and our two parameters are username, so we can say the request hyphen input username, because we're going to be sending back a form request with our username and message in the request. So in here we'll just get input, which gets our body's message, and there you go. Let's just zoom that in a little, and let's just close this sidebar for now so you can see that a little. So there you go, you can see here we create a new event. Let's just break this down, make it easier to read for you. We get a new event, we pass through our message, and we create a new message, and then we pass through the username and the message we get from the send message post request, which is great. So now we've got that in place. Okay, so once this has been done and set, we can actually start getting stuff on the front end of our application. So we may have just gone in and added in a bunch of code, which you may not know what happened, but all we're doing is we're using the Laravel's event system to broadcast a message to a new event called message, and inside of our, swing this down again, and inside of our message, what we're doing in here is we're doing a should broadcast with the username and message. And as you can see here, we're using dispatchable, interacting with sockets, which is web sockets, and also serializing models, although we're not using a modal in this. And then in our construct, we're creating the new event instance, which is going to be username and message. We're passing through a broadcast on, meaning it's going to listen. So we're going to set up a WebSocket channel called chat, and then we're going to broadcast that as message, and that's where we're going to do our new message. So let's just close that, close this, and also keep this open. So inside of here, let's actually press Control T, and let's just run PHP artisan surf. Now once that surfs, we refresh, you can see we just get hello world. Let's just quickly add in the markup for this. So we're just going to have an app. We're going to have inside this app a header, and inside the header we will have a h1 with whatever name you want. We're just going to say let's talk, and then we're going to have an input of the type text, which is going to have a name of username and an ID of username, and then we're going to have a placeholder, which is going to be equal to please enter a username ... Hit save, and if we refresh, you can see we get that there. Nice. Let's then create a new div with the ID of messages, and this is where we're going to inject our messages from the server when we create and get messages. And then we're going to create a form with the ID of message form. The action we don't actually need, and we don't actually need anything else there. We just need the form as a wrapper. We then need an input of type text with the name of message and the ID of message input, so we can get it in JavaScript. And then we're going to create a placeholder and set that equal to write a message ... And then we're going to create a button of type submit with the ID of message send. Now we could use class here, but I prefer to use IDs when we're trying to grab stuff in JavaScript. And then we're going to say send message, and there you go. That is the markup for our application done. But we're not done there. We need to actually include a JavaScript in this. So we're going to actually get our JavaScript app.js. Now you're probably wondering where this comes from. Well, this comes from our public folder here, and inside of here, when we run our mix, it will actually export a JS folder with app.js in it. And once we do this mix, I will show you. So we've got that. We also need our CSS. So we're going to do the exact same thing here. We're going to say link CSS, and what we're going to do is just say ./css/app.css, and that is going to pulling our CSS once we actually add it in. So inside of resources now, we're going to go into our CSS and go into our app.css here, and we're actually just going to paste in a bunch of CSS. Now this will be available on GitHub, and you'll be able to get that in the link in the description of the video for the CSS, but I'll quickly go through it. So we're just resetting some stuff at the top here. We're then adding in some input styling, a app flex to make it stretch. If we refresh, oh, we actually have to run a mix first, sorry. So if we press Control-Option-T and we just create a new bash, we can run in here npm run def, hit enter, and that's going to run our development, and in a second it's going to mix everything, and bam, there you go. So there's our styling done. So what that's done is if we go back into public, you can see it's generated those two files, app.css and app.js, which is actually set up in our webpack.mix here, down here, and it's using post CSS to sort the CSS, and as you can see it uses .js there, finds the JavaScript, and it compiles the JavaScript. So that's all the mix does there. And here you go. So we got a header here with a bit of styling on, a background image gradient. We've got H1 usernames here. I know I'm using IDs to style, but I couldn't be asked to add classes because I'm lazy. And there you go. So that is as simple as that. It's only just, if you remove the spaces, it's less than 100 lines of code. Remove the spaces, sugarcoat it. And there you go. So that's created this simple looking form or message app here. And there you go. That's all I want to show you. Just there. There we go. So now we've done that, let's actually go into our JavaScript here, and we have two different files. We have app.js and Bootstrap. Now app just requires Bootstrap at the minute, but in our Bootstrap you can see we actually have these commented out things. Now Echo exposes an expressive API for subscribing to channels and listening. So what Echo does is it's actually called Laravel Echo or Pusher and Pusher.js. You can see here we actually have to install these in a second, but what these do is they basically allow us to send real-time updates using WebSockets between our backend area of our messages and our website or Laravel application, and also allow us to send messages there and retrieve it in real time, which is really nice. Basically subscribing to an event and listening to them. So there you go. So what we need to do is we need to uncomment this, and because we're building this inside of our Laravel instance, it's actually going to use process.env to get the mix pusher API key and the cluster which we actually need, but it's going to do that automatically for us here. So as you can see, we've got import echo from Laravel Echo and require pusher -js. Now we need to install these, so over here let's just quickly clear and run npm i-save Laravel -echo and pusher-js. Now if we hit enter, this should install the latest versions, and once that's done, there we go, let's hit clear. Now once that's done, we can run npm, or not npm, sorry, we can run, oh no, it is npm run watch, and now this is going to basically, anytime we make a change, it's going to mix our files so we don't have to keep doing it. So now we've got this all done and all set up. We don't actually need anything else in Bootstrap. We can actually just close this file and go into app.js. And in app.js, underneath require Bootstrap, we're now going to get a bunch of variables. So we're going to get our messages. I'm just going to close the sidebar and zoom in a bit more here. So we're going to get our messages element, which is going to be equal to our document dot get element by ID, and we're going to say messages. We're then going to get a username input, which is going to be here, username, we're then going to get our message input, which is going to be message input. And we've got one more message. This time instead of input, it's form, and here we go, form. And there you go. So now we have all 4 elements we need. We're then going to say message form dot add event listener, and we're going to listen for the submit event listener, and we're just going to do a quick function here, and we're just going to e.prevent default, so we don't actually post anything via the form. Instead, we're just going to go in here and say let has errors. So we're going to check if we have any errors. We're going to set this to false to start with, and we're going to say if username input dot value is equal to nothing, we're just going to alert please enter a username, has errors is equal to true. And we're also going to copy this and say message input, and we're going to say please enter a message, and we're just going to set it to true. And then we're going to check if we have errors. We're just going to return out of this event list, out of this function, and don't continue the rest of it. So the next bit is we're going to create some options for our Axios. So we're going to be using Axios because it's actually in our Bootstrap here. As you can see, we include we just include Axios, which basically just allows you to make requests to APIs and stuff a lot easier than it is to use the XML API or the fetch API. So in here, we're just going to say const options is equal to, and we'll just say the method will be post. The URL is the URL we set, which is send message, which is inside of our web roots web.php, and actually we got our send message. Let's go back to our app here, shut that. And under here, we're just going to say the data now is the data we need to pass through. So we need to pass through a username, which is going to be username underscore input dot value. And then we need a message, which is going to be message input dot value. And then we're going to leave that as that for now. And we can just say Axios options. Just like that, and that should make the request for us. So this should now submit a request and send it. But the problem is we're not actually going to know if we've got that. Now the reason being is because we actually need to set up the WebSocket listener. So we're going to say window.echo.channel and we're going to say chat, and then we're going to say listen to the message. And then we're just going to log E. So what we're doing here, the reason I've put a dot in front of this message, so if you remember, if we go to our message here, we've set up a message, and we've got a broadcast on chat, which is our channel name, but then we're broadcasting this as, instead of the event name, we're going to actually name this as our what we want, and we put message. Now to stop this from adding the event event code to this, by default we had to add we just put message, and then in our app we just put a dot there to prevent that from happening. If you don't, it won't work, so just add the dot. Add the dot, guys. So now all we're going to do is we're just going to log the information we sent. So let's just check our mix is still running. It is, that's great. And now we should be able to go into our HTML here. Let's actually stretch this out and then open up a sidebar here just so we can see. So our username will be Tyler. Our message will be hello world. Hit enter. And my bad, we needed to actually refresh the web page before we did that because we needed the protocol to be set up. And as you can see here, we've got our message in. It subscribes to the chat channel, and then it's ready to go. So there we go. Let's try this again. So let's say Tyler, and in our message here, let's just say hello. Hit enter. Send message, and let's have a look at the network. So has this sent? No, we have an issue somewhere. So let's figure out where that issue is coming from. Okay guys, so by the looks of this error, it's going to be inside of our env because I forgot to change the broadcast driver. Now with the broadcast driver, we actually have to swap this out to say pusher because we're using pusher. Now once we've done that, we need to go into our web and roots, and we actually need to return something here because else we're going to get an issue. So what we're going to do is we're going to return an array, and in here we're just going to say success is equal to true, and there you go. Hit enter. Oh, forgot to put the thing there, and hopefully now in here we should be able to refresh before we do anything. Put in Tyler, say message, and we get a 500 internal error. So what's the error here? Let's have a look. Okay guys, so I think I know the issue. It's actually my bad again. Let's create a new one of these, and we actually need to install another package, which is pusher PHP surfer, which is its dependency it needs. If we install this, and also we're going to need to go to, once that's done, just go back to the PHP one here, stop this, clear, and then we'll just go run PHP artisan surf again. Now refresh. Let's enter our name, Tyler, write a message, say hello, hit enter. There you go. We actually get our message and our username. So that was a bit of a roller coaster, but we finally got there in the end. So we've got our message and our username all set out for us here. So let's just shrink this back down. Let's close this. What we need to do now is we need to go back to our app.js here, close this sidebar, and we can close this bottom bit now. I think this should still be running. It is, and that's not what I wanted to do. Close that. Cool. So now in here where we get our message, we actually need to basically write to our messages element. So we're going to say .inner HTML is plus equal to, and what we're going to do is we're going to say diff with the class of message, and then we're going to have a strong, and in here we're just going to say plus e dot username plus this back strong plus e dot message, and then we're going to say plus slash diff here, hit save, and now when we refresh this we can now put in here Tyler, write a message, hello, hit enter, and as you can see it gets now placed on the screen. Now if we add another one, say goodbye, hit enter, you can see we say goodbye. Now if we open this up inside of a new window, so if we just run Command Shift N, we can paste this link in again, and now we can finally chat to all our friends. Obviously if you put this on a web server, of course, but it's fine. I've got me and Keith. It's me and Keith. Hello Tyler, hit enter, and as you can see it says hello Tyler, hello Tyler, I've just joined chat. Now you can see here Keith does not have my message history because he was not logged into the WebSocket when we originally set up this. Now we are in the future going to add a video. If this video gets just really well and it gets enough likes and enough comments and you guys say you really want it, we will hook up a database to this, so when you send a message they get stored in the messages database and will be relayed back here as well, so you can see you'll be able to fetch the messages before they're done. But for now guys, you can see here we have our messaging application all set out, ready and working. So I hope you have learned something new. Pusher is an awesome tool. It works really well with Laravel, and it allows you to create real-time interactions between your surfer and your front-end client, which is incredible. It's just like socket.io if you're from the Node area. But anyway, guys, thank you for watching this video. If you've enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.